Hi guys, so I want to show you something quite amazing, or at least something that's pretty amazing to myself. Way back when, many years ago, by now like, I don't know, 10 or so years ago, I was homeless. Like homeless in quite the literal sense. I lived in a tent in the middle of nowhere in the south of France, ate food from the trash, had food bank food to survive on. And that was my life for quite a while. But even back then, I had the ambition of doing all sorts of things with digital media, like making video games. I really wanted to make video games. I started my project Natch, which I'm still working on and haven't made too much progress on yet. But in that time, I also worked on some smaller things to try and practice game design, working with 3D models and animations, familiarizing myself with things. I was still learning Blender way back when, and I used to do this on these crappy library computers. Library and internet cafe computers. They had like really shitty single gigahertz processors, and of course no graphic cards to speak of. And but the thing is that I thought all those files were gone, lost to the ages, and some of them indeed are, because I've cited these rusty old USB sticks from way back when, with probably still the files in there somewhere, but they're completely unrecoverable because they're rusted and they're old and completely corrupt probably. But then recently I started cleaning out my Dropbox and I found this, one of the little tiny sort of games that I made back then, that I thought was gone forever. And the funny thing is, back then, when I was like playing and testing my creation and stuff, it couldn't run higher than 15 frames a second. So I'm curious how smooth it will run on the PC, my own PC that I built with like a way better processor and an actual graphic card. So many years after I actually started this, so let's try. Oh yeah, that's the character. Now the idea behind the game is very simple. Like you have a little score in the top corner there, and every time you kill an enemy you gain 1 point. And I think more difficult enemies give you. Wait a minute, what's happening there? Maybe because I resized the window? Let me just put it like that and see if it's... Yeah, okay, this seems to be working a little better. Well, the idea is to survive as long as possible and kill enemies, right? And every time you kill an enemy, you gain a score point. And I think that the more difficult enemies later on give you higher score points, right? And you will eventually just die because you have like a limited health pool, and I think I implemented health potions, but I'm not sure if it's in this version. But you have a limited health pool, and it slowly goes down as you get hit. And once you die, you'll be presented with a scoreboard to write your name in and see how long you get compared to other scores. Like basic high score game with attack combos and such. Now, just like now, back then I had zero knowledge of any programming or whatsoever. But the Blender game engine existed, part of Blender. Unfortunately, sadly, it's no longer part of Blender. but it had logic bricks, which didn't require any real programming knowledge to use. You sort of like attached all sorts of blocks together to create game logic, and it was very limited. It is very limited. It's like a really bad, really stilted form of node-based programming that isn't really node-based programming. Ah, hey, look at that. These guys are slightly more difficult. They, what they do is they attack you with a combo rather than a single attack. But yeah, unfortunately, Blender no longer has a game engine. Armory 3D looked very promising with its upgrade of the logic bricks to a proper node-based programming system. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Armory 3D is getting much development of any kind anymore. Rather going for Armor Paint rather than Armory 3D. So that's why I am trying to make the game project Natch in Godot instead. But the major hurdle is actually learning programming. There is some programming in this from what I salvaged from way back when it was like the Blender artist community. Like the mouse look. The mouse look is completely cannibalized from some other project, and I think the same goes for the scoreboard and the health bar. Though I'm not really sure if I actually did it completely with logic bricks or some kind of script. Right, and your character has like two types of combos. One strong singular combo, which is very much meant to just attack a single enemy, and one on the right click on the third combo, a wide attack for attacking multiple foes. And it also seems to have like a knockback. I'm not sure how I programmed the knockback. That's kind of interesting. And it seems like we've just engaged like a new type of enemy. Yeah, that's the third enemy that's been implemented here. It's the kind of dudes that shoot these like energy balls at you and run away. And now I remember someone actually helped me with the run away script for these guys. I'm about to die. And navigating this camera is really difficult because the up and down axis is way too responsive and is completely inverted. Ow, I just died. Alright, so now I think we get to see the scoreboard. Oh yeah, I can get to enter my name. There you go. Well, it seems like I did better in the past. And they also have a Bionicle reference in there. Kopaka with 0 points. So, yeah, let's see, let's play. Oh, right. I keep trying to move with WASD, but back then I didn't make the controls to work on WASD. Instead, it's working on ESDF, and I think I did it because the French keyboard, has a different layout on the keys, so making it on WASD was nigh impossible. However, W is the jump button. Yeah. W is jump. I'll try and upload this game to like my Google Drive or something, and I'll leave a link of it in the description so you guys could, I don't know, try out this jank yourself. Wonderful blast from the past. Oh, the music in the background, I think I used some kind of music program with a bunch of free samples just to paste it together and then made a piece of music out of it. So yeah. sound effects I got, of course, from all sorts of free sound libraries. I can't remember which ones, because it was so many years ago. Yeah, there are those level 2 guys again with the heavy combos. There were supposed to be 3 guys, types of guys in this game. Like, you have like your single attack dudes here with the curved sword, and then you have like your heavy dudes with the big wedge swords that do like a combo. And then you have like those dudes that fire those energy balls at you, that come later on and run away. But I was gonna make a much more complicated type of enemy that had like this this Chinese hat type deal that they would throw. But if you got too close, they wouldn't run away, but instead they would use their hat as a shield and block all your attacks. So you have to like find a way to get around back and attack from the back. Yeah, okay, the problem with the wide attack is that it's a pretty weak attack actually. It hits more enemies, but I'm slaughtered here. Did I implement health potions anywhere? Because I remember I was working also on a health potion type thing. It was basically like this sake bottle. This is earthenware sake bottle that you could drink. Oh, did I just kill myself? Oh wait, no, it's the camera clipping through the terrain. Yeah. Oh man. There's also no stagger cancelling. Like if these dudes start attacking you and they do a combo, then there's no way to stagger them out of it. So. Yep, there's my health again. Yep. So yeah, it's a little wonderful blast from the past. I'll leave I'll leave some sort of link in the description of the video where I upload the zip file. Just run the exe and enjoy the jank. Maybe you can beat my scores. But yeah, that was the ninja survival game that I used to work on.